get to. Mrs. Antrobus! Gladys! Mr. Antrobus will be here this afternoon. I just saw him downtown. Hurry and put things in order. He says that now that the war is over, we'll all have to settle down and be perfect.
Miss Yoshioka, we have to stop.
They may be hiding out somewhere in the back.
Miss Yoshioka! We have to stop a moment.
Oh, what's the matter?
There's an explanation we have to make to the audience. Lights, please! Can you explain this to the audience?
Ladies and gentlemen, an unfortunate accident has taken place backstage. Perhaps I should say, another unfortunate accident.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
The management feels, in fact, we all feel you are due an apology. And now we have to ask your indulgence for the most serious mishap of all. 7 of our actors have been taken ill. Apparently it was something they ate. I'm not exactly clear what it was. Fitz, do you know what it was?
Why, it's perfectly clear these 7 actors went out to eat together at Midtown Restaurant and ate something.
We have ptomaine poisoning. They're in Mount Sinai Hospital this very minute in agony. They're getting their stomachs pumped out this very minute in perfect agony.
Fortunately, we've heard they'll all recover.
Oh, it'll be a miracle if they do. A downright miracle. It was the lemon meringue pie.
It was the meatball!
I saw with my own eyes. It had blue mold all over the bottom.
Whatever it was, they're in no condition to take part in this performance. Naturally, we haven't enough understudies to fill all those roles. But we do have enough of splendid volunteers who have kindly consented to help us out. These friends have watched our rehearsals and assured me that they know the lines of the business very well. Let me introduce them to you. My dresser, Mr. Tremaine. Himself a distinguished Shakespearean actor for many years. Our wardrobe mistress, Hester. His maid, Ivy. Josh! No! He works in the theater office. Now, this scene takes place near the end of the act, and I'm sorry to say we need a short rehearsal, just a short run-through. As some of it takes place in the auditorium, we have to keep the curtain. Those of you who wish can go to the Starbucks down the hall, grab a coffee. The rest of you can listen or talk amongst yourselves as you choose. Thank you. Now, will you take it over, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Thank you. Now, for those of you who are listening, perhaps I should explain that at the end of this act, the men have come back from the war and the family settled down in the house. And the author wants to show the hours of the night passing by over their heads. And he says, this is hard to explain, that each of the hours of the night is a philosopher or a great thinker. 11 o'clock, for instance, is Aristotle. 9 o'clock, Spinoza, like that. I don't suppose it means anything. It's just a kind of poetic effect.
Not mean anything, but certainly it does. 12 o'clock goes by saying those wonderful things. I think it means that when people are asleep, they have those lovely thoughts. Much better than when they're awake. Excuse me, Mr. Fitzpatrick. What were you going to say, Ivy?
Mr. Fitzpatrick, you let my father come to a rehearsal. And my father's a Baptist minister. And he said that the author meant that just like the hours and stars go by over our heads at night, in the same way the thoughts and ideas of the great men are in the air around us all the time. And they're working on us. Even when we don't know it.
Well, maybe that's it. Thank you, Ivy. Anyway, the hours of the night of philosophers. My friends, are you ready? Ivy, it will be 11 o'clock. It's the same in mind. Called divine Aristotle. 2 o'clock, Mr. Tremaine, the Bible.
Yes!
10 o'clock, Mr. Plato. 9 o'clock, Spinoza. Josh?
Yes, sir.
Louder, Josh! And I saw that all the objects of my desire and fear.
And I saw that all the objects of my desire and fear were in themselves nothing good nor bad, save insofar as the mind was affected by them.
Thank you. Do you know the rest? All right.
Then tell me, oh Critias, how shall a man choose the ruler that he is willing to rule over him? Will he not?
Thank you, Esther. Skip to the end.
Can be multiplied
1,000-fold.
1,000-fold in its effects among the citizens.
Thank you, Esther. Aristotle, Ivy.
This good estate of the mind, possessing its object and energy we call divine. This we mortals have occasionally, and it is this energy which is pleasantest and best. But God has it always. It is wonderful in us, but in him how much more wonderful.
Midnight? Midnight, Mr. Tremaine.
Yes!
I've done it before. All right, everybody. You know what you have to do. Don't let put on your costumes today. Act 3 of the skin of our teeth. House lights.
Mrs. Antrobus? Gladys? Where are you? The war's over. You heard all this, okay? Where are they? Are they dead too, etc.? I just saw Mr. Antrobus downtown. He says that now that the war's over, we'll all have to settle down and be perfect. They may be hiding out somewhere in the back. Mrs. Antrobus?
It's getting light. There's still something burning over there. Newark or Jersey City? What? Yes, I could swear I heard someone moving about in here, but I can't see anybody. I say I can't see anybody.
Oh, Mama, be careful!
Gladys, you stay out of sight.
Well, let me just sit here a minute and I want the baby to get some of this fresh air.
All right, but keep your eyes open. I'll go and see what I can find. I'll have a good hot plate of soup for you before you can say Jack Robinson. Gladys Antrobus, do you know what I think I see? There's old Mr. Hawkins sweeping the sidewalk in front of the 7-Eleven. Sweeping it with a broom. Why, he must have gone crazy like the others. I see some other people moving about too. Oh, Mama, come back! Come back! Gladys, there's something there. Everybody's movement's sort of different. I see some women walking right out in the middle of the street.
Mrs. Antrobus?
What was that?
Gladys? Mrs. Antrobus?
Gladys, that's Sabina's voice as sure as I live. Sabina! Sabina, are you alive?
Of course I'm alive. Have you girls? But don't try and kiss me. I never want to kiss another human being as long as I live. The war's over.
The war's over? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I can't believe you.
Mama! Who's that?
That's Gladys's baby. Oh, I don't believe you. Gladys! Sabina says the war's over! Oh, Sabina.
Goodness. Are there any babies left in the world? Can it see and can it cry and everything? Hello.
Of course he can. He notices everything very well.
Where on earth did you get it? But I won't ask. Lord, I've lived all these 7 years around camp and I've forgotten how to behave. Now we've got to think about the men coming home. Mrs. Antrobus, go and wash your face. I'm ashamed of you. Put your best clothes on. Mr. Antrobus will be here this afternoon. I just saw him downtown.
He's alive? You're not joking? And Henry?
Yes, Henry is alive too. That's what they say. Now don't stop and talk, get yourselves fixed up. Gladys, you look terrible. Have you any decent clothes?
Yes, I've been saving something to wear just for this very day. Sabine, who won the war?
Don't stop now, just wash your face. Mr. Antrobus is still thinking up new things. He told me to give you his love. He's got all sorts of ideas for peacetime, he says. No more laziness and idiocy, he says. And oh, yes, where are his books? What? We'll pass them up. The first thing he wants to see are his books. He says if you burn those books or if the rats have eaten them, he says it isn't worthwhile starting over again. Here it is. Let's see here. The Art of the Deal. Some books are better left burned, I suppose. I've got such plans for you, Mrs. Antrobus. You're going to study history and algebra. And so we're Gladys and I, and philosophy. Oh, you should hear him talk. Seems like he expects you to be a combination, Mrs. Antrobus, of a saint and a college professor and a dance hall hostess, if you know what I mean. Yes. Peacetime will be here before we know it. Boom. Oh, Mrs. Antrobus, God forgive me, but I enjoyed the war. Everybody's at their best during wartime. I'm sorry it's over. And oh yes, I forgot. Mr. Antrobus sent you another message. Can you hear me? Listen. Henry's never to put foot in this house again, he says. He'll kill Henry on sight if he sees him. You don't know about Henry? Where have you been? What? Henry rose right to the top. Top of... Listen, I'm telling you, Henry rose from corporal to captain to major to general. I don't know how to say it, but the enemy is Henry. Henry is the enemy. Everybody knows that.
He'll kill me. Will he?
Who are you? I'm not afraid of you. The war's over.
I'll kill him so fast. I've spent 7 years trying to find him. The others I killed were just substitutes.
Henry. Oh, I'm not afraid of you. The war's over, Henry Antrobus, and you're not any more important than any other unemployed. You go away and hide yourself until we calm your father down.
The first thing to do is burn up those old books. You know the ideas he gets out of those old books that make the whole world so you can't live in it.
You leave those books alone! Mr. Antrobus is looking forward to them. The special. Gracious sakes, Henry. You're so tired you can't stand up. Your mother and sister will be here in a minute and we'll think what to do about it.
What do they ever care about me?
All you people think you're not loved enough. Nobody loves you. When you start being lovable, I will love you.
I don't want anybody to love me.
Then stop talking about it all the time.
I never talk about it. The last thing I want is anybody to pay any attention to me.
Well, I can hear behind every word you say.
I want everybody to hate me.
Yes, you've decided that's second best, but it's still the same thing. Mrs. Antrobus, Henry's here. He's so tired he can't stand up. Henry? Henry!
Hold on. It's okay.
Fine.
Have you anything to eat?
Oh, yes, I have, Henry. I've been saving it for this very day. 2 good baked potatoes. back this minute. Henry, the other one's for your father.
He's so dog tired he doesn't know what he's doing.
Now, you just rest there until I can get your room ready. Eat that potato good and slow so you can get all the nourishment out of it.
You all might as well know right now. I haven't come back here to live.
I'll just put this coat over you. It is hardly damaged at all. Your football trophies are a little tarnished, but Sabina and I will polish them up tomorrow.
Did you hear me? I don't live here. I don't belong to anybody.
Why, how could you say anything like that? You certainly do belong right here. Where else would you want to go? The forehead's feverish, Henry seems to be. You better give me that gun, Henry. You won't need that anymore.
Look, he's fallen asleep with his potato half chewed.
The terror of the world.
Sabina, mind your own business and start putting the room to rights.
That's all you do. Always beginning again. Over and over again, always beginning again. How do we know it'll be any better than before? Why do we go on pretending? Someday the whole Earth's going to have to turn cold anyway, and until that time it'll be all these other things happening. It'll be more wars and more walls of ice and floods and earthquakes.
Sabina, stop arguing and go on with your work.
Alright. I'll go on out of habit, but I won't believe in it.
Now, Sabina, I've let you talk long enough. I don't want to hear any more of it. Do I have to explain to you what everybody knows? Everybody who keeps a home going? Do I have to say to you what nobody should ever have to say because they can read it in each other's eyes? Now listen to me. I could have lived for 70 years in a cellar and make soup out of grass and bark without ever doubting this world has a work to do and will do it. Do you hear me?
Yes, Mrs. Antrobus.
Sabina, do you see this house? 216 Cedar Street, do you see it?
Yes, Mrs. Antrobus.
Well, just to have known this house is to see what we can do someday if we keep our wits about us. Too many people have suffered and died to make my children rich for us to start reneging now. So we'll go on putting this house to rights. Now, Sabina, go see what you can do in the kitchen.
Kitchen? Why is it however far I go away, I always end up back in the kitchen? I'll go back in the kitchen.
Goodness, wouldn't you know my father was a parson? It's like I heard his own voice and he's been dead 5,000 years. Now I got him in this way, Henry.
Oh, fellows! What have they done for us? Blocked the way at every step! Took everything in their own hands, you stood it! When are you going to wake up?
Henry, sleep, go to sleep. It's okay. Well, that's better. Now, let's go and help Sabina.
Well, I'm gonna go out into the backyard and put the baby up in the air and show him we don't have to be afraid anymore.
All right! What have you got to lose? What have they done for us? That's right. Nothing! Tear everything down! I don't care what you smash! We'll begin again, and we'll show him. All right. Do something. Don't think I'm afraid of you either. All right? Do what you are going to do. Do it! Shoot me, I tell you. You don't have to think I'm in a relation of yours. I haven't got any father, or any mother, or brothers, or sisters, and I don't want any. And what's more, I haven't got anybody over me. And I never will have. I'm alone. And that's all I ever want to be. Alone. So, you can shoot me!
You're the last person I wanted to see here. The sight of you dries up all my plans and hopes. I wish I was back at war still. Because it's easier to fight you than to live with you. War's a pleasure. You understand me? War's a pleasure compared to what faces us now. Trying to build up a peacetime with you in the middle of it.
I'm not going to be a part of any peacetime of yours. No. I'm going a long way from here and make my own world that's fit for a man to live in. Where a man can be free and have a chance and do what he wants to do in his own way.
Henry, let's try again.
Try what? Living here. Speaking polite downtown to all the old men like you. Standing like a sheep at the street corner till the red light turns green. Being a good boy and a good sheep. Like all the stinking ideas you get out of your books. No! I'll make a world and I'll show you.
How can you make a world for people to live in unless you first put order in yourself? Mark my words. I shall continue fighting you until my last breath, as long as you mix up your idea of liberty with your idea of hogging everything for yourself. I shall have no pity on you. I shall pursue you to the far corners of this earth. You and I want the same thing.
No.
But until you see it as something that everyone has the right to, you are my deadly enemy and I will destroy you. I hear your mother's voice in the kitchen. Have you seen her?
I have no mother. Get it into your head. I don't belong here. I have nothing to do here. I have no
Why did you come here? With the whole world to choose from, why did you pick this one place? 216 Cedar Street, Excelsior, New Jersey. Well,
What if I did? What if I wanted to look at it once more? To see.
oh, you're related, all right. When your mother comes in, you must behave yourself. Do you hear me?
What is this? Must behave yourself. Don't you say must to me! Nobody can say must to me! All my life, everybody's been crossing me. Everybody. Everything, all of you. But see, I'm going to be free. Even if I have to kill half the world for it. Right now, too. Let me get my hands on his throat!
Stop!
I'll show him!
Play the scene! You know what happened last night! Stop the play!
comes over me. I have nothing against him personally. I respect him very much. I admire him. But something comes over me. It's like I've become 15 years old again. Listen, my own father used to whip me and lock me up every Saturday night. I never had enough to eat. He never let me have enough money to buy decent clothes. I was ashamed to go downtown. I never could go to dances. And my father and my uncle put rules in the way of everything I wanted to do. They tried to prevent my living at all. I'm sorry.
No. Go on. Finish what you were saying. Say it all.
In this scene, it's as though I were back in high school again. It's like I had some big emptiness inside me. The emptiness of being hated and blocked at every turn. And the emptiness fills up with the one thought that you have to strike and fight and kill. Hey, listen, it's as though you have to kill somebody else so as to not end up killing yourself.
That's not true. I knew your father and your uncle and your mother. You imagined all that. Why, they did everything they could for you. How could you say something like that? They didn't lock you up.
They did. Oh, they did. They wished I hadn't been born.
That's not true.
Wait a minute. I have something to say too. It's not wholly his fault that he wants to strangle me in this scene. It's my fault too. He wouldn't be like this if it wasn't something inside me that reminded him of all that. He talks about emptiness. Well, there's an emptiness inside me too. Yes, work. That's all I do. Cease to live. No wonder he has that anger coming over him.
There. At last you said it.
We're all just as wicked as we can be, and that's the God's truth.
Come on. Come and put your head under some cold water.
No, I'll go with him. You have to go on with the play.
Thanks. Thanks for what you said. No, I'll be all right tomorrow. I won't lose control in that place. I promise.
George, you're limping.
Yes. My old wound from the other war started smarting again. I could manage.
Some lights are coming on. First in 7 years. People are walking up and down looking at them. Over in Hawkins' open lot, they built a bonfire to celebrate the peace. People are dancing around it like scarecrows.
A bonfire. As though they hadn't seen enough things burning.
We're back again. All these years. I gave up counting on letters. The few that arrived were anywhere from 6 months to a year late.
Yes. The ocean is full of letters. Among other things.
George, you're tired. Sit down.
No. You sit down. I'm tired, but I'm restless. Maggie, I've lost it. I've lost it.
What, George? What have you
The
lost?
most important thing of all. Desire to begin again. To start building.
It will come back.
I've lost it. This minute, I feel like all those people dancing around the bonfire. Just relief. Just the desire to settle down. To slip into the old grooves. To keep the neighbors from walking over my lawn. But out in the war, in the middle of all that blood, dirt, hot and cold, every day and night, I had moments, Maggie, when I saw all the things we could do when it was over. When you're at war, you think about a better life. When you're at peace, you think about a more comfortable one. I've lost it. I feel sick and tired.
George, while Gladys and I were living here, like moles, like rats, and when we were at our wits' end to save the baby's life, the only thought we clung to was that you were going to bring something good out of the suffering. In the night, in the dark, we'd whisper about it, starving and sick. Think, what else kept us alive all these years? George, you'll have to get it back again. Even now, it's not comfort we want. We can suffer whatever's necessary, only give us back that promise.
Mrs. Antrobus,
Yes, Sabina?
will you need me?
No, Sabina, you can go to bed.
Mrs. Antrobus, if it's all right with you, I'd like to go to the bonfire and celebrate seeing the war's over. And Mrs. Antrobus, they've opened the Gem Movie Theater, and they're giving away hand-painted soup tureen to every lady. And I thought one of us ought to go.
Sabina, I haven't any money. I haven't seen any money for quite a while.
Well, you don't need money. They're taking anything you can give them. And I have some. Promise you won't tell anyone, Mrs. Antrobus. It's a little against the law, but I'll give you some too.
What is it?
I'll give you some too. Yesterday, I picked up a lot of beef cubes.
Sabina, now you know you ought to turn those into the center downtown. They know who needs them most.
Mrs. Antrobus, I didn't make this war. I didn't ask for it. And in my opinion, after anybody's gone through what we've gone through, they have a right to grab what they can find. Oh, the world's an awful place. And you know it is. I used to think that something could be done about it, but I know better now. I hate it. I hate it. All right. All right, you can have them.
Thank you, Sabina.
Can I have one to go to the movies?
Good night, Sabina.
Mr. Antrobus, I'm just an ordinary girl. You know what I mean? I'm just an ordinary girl, but you are a bright man. You're a very bright man, and of course, you've invented the alphabet and the wheel, and my God, a lot of things. And if you have any other plans, my God, don't let me upset them. Only every now and then, I've got to go to the movies. I mean, my nerves can't stand it. But if you have any ideas on how to improve this crazy old world, I'm really with you. I really am, because it's... Good night.
Now I remember what three things always went together when I was able to see things most clearly. Three things! Three things! The voice of the people, in their confusion, and their need, and the thought of you and the children in this house. Maggie, I didn't dare ask you. My books, they haven't been lost, have they?
No, there are some of them right here. Kind of tattered.
Yes. Remember, Maggie? We almost lost them once before. And when we did collect a few torn copies at our old sellers, they ran through everyone's head like a fever. They as good as rebuilt the world. Well, I've never forgotten, for long at a time, that living is struggle. Every good and excellent thing in this world stands moment by moment on the razor edge of danger and must be fought for. whether it's a field, or a home, or a country. All I ask is the chance to rebuild new worlds, and God has always given us that second chance. And the voices to guide us, and the memory of our mistakes to warn us. Maggie, you and I must remember in peacetime all those results that were so clear to us in the days of war. Maggie, we've come a long way. We've learned. We're learning. And the steps of our journey are marked for us here. Times, out in the war, standing all night on a hill, I try to remember the words in these books. Parts of them and phrases would come back to me. After a while, I used to give names to the hours of the night. 9 o'clock I used to call Spinoza. Where is it? After experience had taught me
that the common occurrences of daily life were vain and futile, and I saw that all the objects of my desire and fear were in themselves nothing good or bad, save insofar as the mind was affected by them, I at length determined to search out whether there was something truly good and communicable to man.
Then tell me, O Critias, how will a man choose the ruler that shall rule over him? Will he not choose a man who has established order in himself, knowing that any decision that springs from anger or pride or vanity can be multiplied 1,000-fold in its effects upon the citizens?
This good state of the mind, possessing its object an energy we call divine. This we mortals have occasionally, and it is this energy which is pleasantest and best. But God has it always. It is wonderful in us, but in Him how much more wonderful.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was waste and void, and the darkness fell upon the face of the deep. And the Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
This is where you came in. We have to go on for ages and ages yet. You go home. The end of this play isn't written yet. Mr. and Mrs. Antibus, their heads are full of plans and they're as confident as the first day they began. And they told me to tell you. Good night.